Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy who wants to know, what did Scottie Pippen ever do to Tiffany? I am Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Rob Has a Podcast Wednesday night, BB Comics night. And we're here to talk about a veto and set the stage for tomorrow's double eviction, baby, as we welcome in another great panel to talk here 2 weeks until the BB 23 finale on September 29th. First, a man who is having a much needed break from the live feeds at the moment. Here is Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
I'm doing great, Rob, and I just want to say about your intro there. It's just
congratulations, because you're doing amazing, sweetie.
You just did such a great
Am
job.
I?
And,
yeah. Can I do it over? Can I do it?
I don't think you need to. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Okay. Let me try it. Let me try it again. Okay.
All
right. Let's bring in a man who's my superhero. It's Taran Armstrong. Taran, how are you?
Shut the up, Kyland.
No. Okay. Yes. Taran, feeds are down at this hour.
Feeds are down, and they are going to continue to be down until after the West Coast airing of tomorrow night's episode. So
some would say the feeds have been down all week.
That would not be an incorrect statement either, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this episode was on, actually. Was there an episode?
Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll talk about everything that's going on here tonight. Also, very excited to have back with us, of course, host of the Married at First Sight wrap-up. Aysha Welch is here. Aysha, how are you?
Hey, Rob, I'm doing fine. And I think we're going to do okay through this podcast. But, you know, you and I are color coordinated, and then Taran and Brian are color coordinated, or coordinated in some form or fashion. So I think they're going to be our arch enemies during this podcast. So just be prepared.
Okay, final two deal. Okay.
Yes.
You're the best player. I'm going to make sure that you
So you
gotta take you there.
It only makes sense.
All right, Aysha, good to have you back. And joining us for the first time, that I'm not sure if we've ever done a BB recap with this man. I know we've certainly talked to his co-host on the challenge wrap-up about Big Brother. Here is the great Brian Cohen is here. Brian, how are you?
I'm good. I know I was introduced third, but I just don't want people to think I'm a comp threat, so people still want to take me to the end. I don't want to raise my target level too much here.
Yes, okay. That would only be if you came in second.
Right. So I think I'm still in good shape. I can still be brought to the end. I'm doing well. Doing good.
Yes. Brian, what's new?
Not much. I mean, I'm enjoying the Challenge minor league season, scouting out the prospects, seeing who's going to be jumping on board Challenge 38. So enjoying that, getting the scouting reports out.
Yes, Brian, how do you think that Xavier would do if he was in the world of One Tree Hill?
I mean, he would do pretty well. He would probably battle out with Nathan for a top spot on the One Tree Hill Ravens. He would be going for that scholarship. I think he'd do pretty well.
Okay. All right. Brian, nice to have you here with us. Of course, we'll take your questions if you have them. RHAPwebsite.com/BB questions, and we'll get to those later on in the show. Taran, so was it a little bit of a swerve here with everything going on with the live feeds? When did this become common knowledge about what they were doing with the 2-hour episode tomorrow?
So they closed the backyard down on Sunday, shortly after the veto competition took place, and as soon as that happened, we started to speculate in the house that it might be an early eviction, surprise early eviction. And that's when we started to think, oh, well, what if it's pre-taped? What if they pre-tape the double eviction? And that's how they have enough footage prior to Friday, because there's going to be an episode on Friday, to air a whole episode on Friday. So we started to speculate that might be a possibility. And then, lo and behold, the feeds go down. I do think that is what's happening here. That they probably have filmed now the whole double eviction at this point, and are probably doing the following HOH competition, soon. And then we're gonna get all of that tomorrow night, and then probably the following stuff on Friday.
Yeah, I had a terrible thought today that I said, what if Tiffany managed to change the vote and stayed and then got taken out in the double eviction. That would really be, and we'd have no idea until tomorrow. It'd be really terrible.
What a roller coaster that would be tomorrow night.
It would be like a real roller coaster 2 hours. It'd be like watching a Met game, Brian.
Yeah, and it would not end you think you tie the game in the 9th, and boom, she's out anyway.
Yeah.
Or a Cowboys game.
Cowboys game from Thursday.
Or a Giants game, or anyone that we're watching.
Yes. So we'll see what happens on Thursday. Of course, the Emmys are going to be on CBS on Sunday night. So no Sunday night episode. So another programming note, 2-hour episode on Thursday will be live at 10:15 p.m. Eastern. And then we will be live as well on Friday night at 9:15 with coverage of the Friday night episode, no Sunday night episode. And also, Sam, make a note with Mike Bloom for the slop on Monday that we should do the BB Emmys on Monday and come up with all of the BB Emmy categories for BB23. All right, let's talk BB 23 from tonight, if we have to. Aysha, what's with Big D tonight? What is this new horrible character that we've invented?
I am so over it.
Yes, me.
I'm so over it. He is the absolute worst. And I literally did not crack any type of smile. There was no positive emotion on my face anytime he was on the screen. It's not funny. It's not cute. He's so annoying that it's as if production thinks we enjoy this. The fact that he was the one to talk through every single comic, he's not the one I want to see. He is not giving. He's not giving what he's supposed to give. He's not the fun, bubbly guy we thought he was. And it's not just because he wants Tiffany out. It's just who he is as a person has just become just amplified this week with only the cookout in the house. And it's been atrocious. So I did not enjoy this villain we saw that he thought was so funny on the episode.
I think the problem is they're still living off his $100 BB buck. They think he's still the fan favorite. They're, give me all the Derek F. And now it's like, not with this Derek F. I think if they ran the BB bucks again, he's getting $50.
They know the scores.
Do they? I don't know. They seem out of touch a lot of the times. Do they know?
They have no idea what's going on in the IT department. They're just they just are given the numbers and then it goes.
Yeah. Taran, what's the disconnect here?
I genuinely think that they feel like he is the most fun character left in the game. I mean, what does Xavier give you in the diary room? Honestly, I think that Xavier can be great in the diary room, but I think he's had the fun sucked out of him. Kyland, all of Kyland's diary rooms have been. So this is really hard for me this week.
This
is going to be. And then, Tiffany is on her way out the door at this point. So she's giving that content for you. You're getting some snark from Hannah. But in terms of Big D's giving them the he has the cape behind him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna laugh at them.
Yeah.
Like he is giving the theatrical performance that they really like.
You know what he is? That he is this season's, he is the JC of the person who that the producer in the diary room, hey, try this one. Try this. And he is the person okay, sure. I'll give it to you. And just is the person who is giving them whatever they want in the diary room.
Yeah, and to his head, he thinks everyone loves it. I mean, he was getting those $100 bucks. He thinks he's the fan favorite. Everything I do is golden. The fans are going to eat everything I do up. So I'm just going to keep playing it up. And he can't get the reality check now until after he leaves the house at this point. But he still thinks he's going to walk out thinking I'm going to win America's favorite player.
Yeah, even Xavier said he's like the JC, and Xavier doesn't even know what he's like in the diary room. So he's like the JC in more ways than one.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's ideal.
No, not a good spot to be Jason.
No,
never.
No. I mean, it seemed like that the biggest storyline they were trying to push tonight was could Kyland take Hannah off the block with the veto, Taran?
Yeah, that's when my eyes start to droop because I'm just not happening. And for me, it's I genuinely feel like this is a mistake because I get it. I get that they do this all the time. They like to be like, oh, but maybe. But, you know, a season like this, you have to look at the history of the season. And the history of the season in the edit so far has been, maybe they're going to do something. Nope. But maybe this time. Nope, of course not. But what about this time? Nope, how could you think so? But what about this time? And it's just like, oh my God. At this point, surely not even the casual audience is fooled by this. And we're just really just spinning our wheels.
Speaking from the more casual perspective, I was very much not fooled by it. I was waiting. I was like, this is really the best that they could come up with, that they're going to put Big D up. And like, it was most obvious, like, obviously this would backfire. So, I mean, I guess they got him to say it once. And like that one moment they're talking to Xavier, like, oh, let's make sure we include that in the episode. So at least there's some doubt to it. But, you know, I mean,
it just highlights that nothing is happening, right? Like, if you focus on maybe something will happen, you're highlighting the fact that nothing ends up happening. Even if you do fool the audience into thinking maybe something will happen this time, maybe the football will be there. When it's not, they're going to be like, I can't believe they screwed us again. Like, it's you can only do that so much. Instead, let's not have a football and let's focus on something else, because there's other stuff we could look at.
Yeah, I feel like the only time this was enjoyable was if you were actually watching feeds and you had, and you're all these live feeders who had like an ounce of hope, including me, where you're like in the conversation. Within a conversation, it seems like their wheels are turning. It seems like Kyland's going to make a different decision. And then as soon as the conversation's over, he's like, no, I'm going to keep things the same. So it's like watching it on the episode play out this way. It's like, obviously, if you're painting this picture this way, there's no shock value if it does happen. So there's no way it's going to actually happen. So I would have preferred to, how about a cooking session with Azza? Have her explain something she's cooking. I would have really liked that.
I would have preferred just an hour-long tribute to Tiffany. Like, you know, we're going to lose all. So speaking of the confessionals, we're going to lose all of her confessionals come Thursday. Like, just give her like an hour long of all the confessionals that you know, missed the cutting room floor, and just put them on this episode and just
get everybody sitting around the kitchen table, like, hey guys, remember the time that Tiffany impersonated Frenchie doing the nominations? Like, remember that? And we just like show all her clips.
Yeah, make all the comics Tiffany, just all variations of her. Just have that be the episode.
Wow.
Right. They're not afraid to say someone's going home. Like, oh, will Brent be blindsided tomorrow? Or will he, you know, like they've said this season, the writing has been on the wall for multiple people and they haven't tried to disguise that. So let's just do it for Tiffany. And yeah, like you said, Brian, that would have been wonderful.
So Aysha, tonight was, I feel like, the first night that we got like really like the it's the men versus the women in the house. And of course, this is like a much more sanitized version of that story for the TV audience. But we really get a lot of Big D and Xavier sort of like conspiring.
Yeah, the dudes, as the announcer called them. It's like these Xavier Big D talks were intolerable this week. It's just like this season, we traded out racism for misogyny. It's like, it's always one issue. Like if you solve for one issue in any aspect of the world, you solve for one, there's always going to be another. And so it's just like, we constantly see this in seasons of Big Brother, of the men trying to take over, the men doing an all men alliance and taking the women out or whatever. So it's just like, it sucks and it's so disappointing to see once again. But it's like, should we be surprised? Like, this is the 23rd season, like it's happened. It's like, okay, yeah, we got one really nice thing this season, but this part, we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, Taran, lots of great points about this from the Roundtable podcast from last night. You and Melissa and Jacob really did a great job of running through everything that's going on in the house this week. How much of this, like the men versus the women, was sort of like could the women have seen this coming at all when they got to the 6? Like, was there any sort of clues that this was going to happen, or did this sort of just pop up here?
I mean, it did pop up very recently, and it was kind of the spark was Tiffany winning that HOH, because prior to that, Xavier had been gunning for Kyland for like a month at the final 6. And it wasn't until Tiffany, it beat Kyland in that HOH that he changed his tune to, no! Tiffany just lost herself $750,000. And so that's when it really took shape. But it is something that that Tiffany was aware of that week at the very least, and it's something that she's been aware of for a long time. That she knew that she was not taking her optimal path to the end, and that she was going to have a more difficult time to get to the end with this path. And by the time she was sending Claire out, she knew very well that she was likely going to be following Claire out the door very shortly.
Is Azza actually conflicted about which way she wants to go, or is she firmly with the Big D and Xavier side of things?
She is firmly with the Big D and Xavier side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's because of and I don't want to get in, well, it's not really spoiler territory, but it's like, it's because of how she feels about Hannah, which I can't explain. I don't know what it is, but it's as if her and Hannah cannot just get on the same page, because her and Tiffany, sister relationship, they're good. They may fight, but they are in sync when it comes to just having a functioning relationship that has its good, its ups and its downs. But no matter how many ups Azza has with Hannah, like, she just doesn't like her for some reason.
Yeah, Aysha, did they ever get on the same page? Because I remember earlier in the season that Azza was the one holdout of like, wait, it's, the 5+1. Hannah's not, don't tell her about the cookout.
No, right? It was just a matter of like, okay, well, I guess I got to accept it that she's part of the 6. And then it was even Azza has joked recently, like, I forgot she was, I think that was on the episode where she's like, I even forgot she was a part of my alliance the first couple of weeks. And so she's never left that, I guess, that train of thought.
At this point, is it clear who Azza would side with, Big D or Xavier, if it came down between the two with a middle school crush take over, or is the team a lot like going back to their team? Like, is that going to take over?
I think at this time it would probably be Big D. But first of all, she's likely never going to be in that position. And second, by the time it ever did happen, if it did happen, Big D might have, pissed her off so much because he's kind of been doing that lately that she might go another way. But I think right now she would side with Big D.
Okay. So we got to see some Tiffany camera talk. This was nice. That she tells us how she's gonna do it for Christian. Brian, that was her son's birthday. We heard lots of shout outs to Christian on the Thursday night episode. She's gonna win that veto for Christian.
Yeah, not the best effort in the veto, unfortunately, with her life on the line.
That close.
Not just missed it by a smidge. It was that close. Such a bummer for her to go out that way, because obviously for her, like, by far in my mind, the top strategic player of the season, and to see her not even gonna be a factor in like the true end game, it just feels such a bummer for how she shaped this whole season and put together the cookout, and for her to get clipped like this. It's such a bummer, and it's just so frustrating because you kind of see it coming for the last few weeks that she's going to be in this position where she was going to need to have either Xavier or Kyland on her side because of the likelihood of them winning a comp, and it's just such a bummer that it's ending like this for her.
Yeah, Rob, it struck me watching this episode and seeing Tiffany's camera talk that we've seen a lot of this during the season, that we've seen a lot of different camera talks on the episodes. And it made me realize that why if you want, house guests expressing their thoughts to the camera that they don't want anyone else to hear, almost like the camera is their own personal diary. It's almost like you have a whole thing that you can use for that kind of content. But instead, they're forced to give their thoughts in the house to the live feed cameras because there's no room for them to actually speak their own thoughts in the diary room. But clearly you think this is valuable content. Maybe you should take a hint. Maybe.
So you're saying you'd like to see them let the house guests go into the diary room and just like be able to just say whatever they want to say, speak their mind.
Yeah, I've got something to say. That used to be how it was. I've got thoughts. I need to go to the diary room and express these thoughts.
Yeah.
We've gone so far that they've been like, nah, we don't want that. So then they start talking to the cameras and they're like, no, we do need to include this.
Yeah. Yeah, Brian, that's like old school real world house.
It really is, but of course they're not going to do it because then they can't have the producers feeding them questions and answers and guiding the conversation. So unless they want to have it with no producer, which obviously would be better, and we can watch it live. But yeah, I mean that would bring it back to early 2000s reality TV. I'm signing up for that.
I hope that Tiffany doing this and it making the episode is like a trendsetter, because like usually past seasons we might see people in that like little room that they took away by the bathroom, and then like in Cliff's case getting caught. But in the way that Tiffany has done it consistently throughout the season, making sure things are like the coast is clear, doing it, I'm hoping future seasons more people do this, and not just these like super fans of the show, but more people they'll have watched recent seasons and they can do this. So then we start to see more of people's true thoughts. And it's not like all the people leave the room and someone's left alone and then they just sit in their thoughts when we want to know what they're thinking.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, but I just think that Tiffany is a little bit of like, she's such a juggernaut of like, I just think that she's like such like a once in a decade type person to have on the show. I just don't know how many other people could do what she's able to do.
Well, that's kind of my point though, because Tiffany is somebody that will give us these thoughts and she will talk to the cameras. And she can do it on her own in a great way. She doesn't need to be guided in any way. She doesn't need to be more coherent, guided to be more coherent or anything like that. But like for me, it's like, think about all of the people who never even thought to talk to the cameras. Somebody like Vanessa, who never spoke to the cameras in a meanuful way. We had to like decipher, decipher from her, candy and stuff like that. That like, think about all of the great stuff we've gotten from Tiffany talking to the cameras that we have missed out on from previous seasons who never thought to talk to the cameras. All of that content just into the ether, just gone, because there's no other outlet for them, and they didn't know to speak to the cameras. Hopefully, as you guys said, that people talk to the cameras a bit more now, with this being kind of the precedent. But still, I just feel like they're leaving so much on the table here.
And worst case scenario, Asia, we're gonna get some really great Instagram lives,
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
I would watch. I'm not, an avid Instagram live watcher, but if Tiffany's on Instagram live, I would for sure watch. But I'm also thinking about, more people doing this in the future. I can't see this season, without as great as it has been, being like one of the 2 seasons they're given when they are taken away, because they're not going to want this to happen again. So it's going to be like, here's season 16 and here's season 20. Go enjoy.
Yeah. That's an interesting point about, that I feel like that this season was such a milestone season that I think that you certainly would want to, like with a future cast, have them see the season, but does production would they not want this to happen again? And that's a very interesting question of what they would do. I just don't know what else would they show them.
22.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would still show them. I don't know. I get the sense they would want to show them this season. I feel like this season, I think it's been received pretty well for the most part, that I think they would want to highlight this for future players, just to show. It's still been a unique gameplay about how people come different strategies and things like that. So I think they would want this one to be highlighted, and you can focus on people talking to the camera and things like that. So I think this would be shown to the next season, when they're in sequester.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would hope.
Yeah. It's interesting that I think that maybe it's sort of like show them the season, but it's also like here's also like a cautionary tale of what happened to Tiffany, where she went to the end with these other players, and then ultimately it didn't end up winning the game.
Yes, I think it could push the strategic players not to be more cutthroat. Like, if you go on a more heroic journey, this is unfortunately what could be what happened to you. But if you're more cutthroat in your, post jury phase, it could really help your game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a series of podcasts that you can be done in the off season once we get through this. Like, how the Cookout changed Big Brother for the future. Like, I think it's like such an important season of the show moving forward.
Not even just Big Brother. I mean, I'm curious to see how it impacts Survivor and other seasons, especially with the diversity push that it's going to happen all across these different shows. It's very curious to see how it impacts everything.
Well, the interesting thing about Survivor is that Survivor has filmed 2 seasons before this season of Big Brother happened. So you might not see the effects of we have no idea what happened in the next 2 seasons of Survivor. And then if there are if there is an impact from the Cookout, we won't see that until Survivor 43.
Right. Or they just have the same kind of unique thought going into that season that Cookout had here.
And Survivor has its own, share of like many issues that go on, including not having a woman winner in, the last 4 years of the show. And so there's a whole other series of podcasts that can be done. But in the meantime, we talk some BB Comics.
Let's do it.
Yes. All right. Let's bring in some BB Comics. Should we bring up the visuals and talk them through? Because I don't know how much there is to talk about the competition.
Please.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Let's look at them and see how they did. All right. Here we go. Let's talk about Azza here. The wizard of Azza, and let's see what this says. She is a real spell raiser. By the way, we grabbed these from the Entertainment Weekly article. Dalton Ross got early access to these, and we grabbed these for the visual aid here on the podcast tonight. So thanks to Dalton Ross for the great work here. Wizard of Azza.
Honestly, I this is almost my favorite one in terms of it being the most flattering to her. I think she looks great. They were spot on with her hair. She looks beautiful, legs for days. So I really like this one. Was it relevant? No, but I think maybe 2 of the 16 were.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of complaints about the visuals, but I definitely have a lot of complaints about the creativity of the concepts. The Wizard of Azza is the first of many of these comics that are purely just puns on the person's name and have no other relevance to who they are as a person, who they are as a player, their experience in the house, or anything. Literally just a pun on the name. The Wizard of Azza. Get it?
Yeah. And the only thing I'll say is Azza was happy with her comic.
I love my comic. My boobs look great. I really like my boobs.
I was stunned they didn't bring the middle school crush into her comic. They almost should have just combined the comics and Zingbot into like one giant thing. I think that's almost the step they need to take.
But is she the middle school crusher?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, that Rob, yes, that would have been so much better.
That's not that great.
It's better than Wizard of Azza.
Better.
The bar is on the floor.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I think another thing that kind of killed it for these comics, which I saw a little bit of this on Twitter, was that we had seen them already on Twitter. Anybody who's on Twitter, on BB Twitter, has seen them. So like the episode dragging on and on about them was not entertaining because we had seen them already. So I think if they wait, what?
You didn't like the you see, audience, in this one, Azza has her dress is billowing out. And in this one, it's not.
Of all things that Big Brother needs, like that it's like torturous. Like that's a form of torture to hear people go over and over. Oh, there's a hat in this one and a cape in this one. Oh, but then I pressed the button, I was wrong. Oh, but then I noticed it's torturous.
Azza could cast a spell at this point in the season.
Absolutely not. I think it comes down to these comics are in 2 categories. The first category is they could have made it on day 1, knowing the person's name.
Yep.
Second category is okay, it could have been made at this point in time. So this is definitely first category.
Very few of those that made the cut.
Right.
Okay. Let's go to the next one. What do we got here? Okay. Oh, this is I actually thought that this one's probably the best. Big Z, the perfect snorm.
Yes, this fell in the latter category where they actually took something that happened during the season and applied it to a comic. This was a very good one. Very well done.
And I think the strength of this one is probably accidental because I think what they're going for is, remember how fun and funny it is that Big D sleeps all the time? But like the reality is that those of us watching the show can interpret this in a way that's like, yeah, he also slept through the whole game.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so like it's got that double meaning, but I don't know that they intended it that way.
Big
Right.
Z.
And the Jokers always get the last laugh.
Something to point out as well is I saw on Twitter that because Melissa had quote tweeted it, was that the artists are told what to draw. And so because one of the artists got a tweet like, you know, why did you do this or whatever? And basically they're told what to draw. So we know who to blame.
Sounds like confessionals.
Right.
People are dragging the comic book artist.
Yeah.
Twitter streets are tough. Bro. You never know where you're going to get it from.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. This is one of the worst ones. Let's talk about Oceana Hannah. And then check out this catchphrase here. She's serving up some hot clam chowder. Excuse me while I go throw up.
How many takes did it get Hannah to even say, I like my comic? And even with that, they put the one out. She had such low energy.
Canned line from the diary room.
I will serve up a bowl of hot clam chowder any day. Get it? Because my last name's Chowder, and everyone in the house calls me that. Duh.
And that is the first explanation on the show we have gotten for Chada. Despite Chada being on the show and referenced on the show many times. I also love the juxtaposition of Hannah in the competition reacting to her comic. Oh, that's pretty good. Then straight to diary. I love my comic.
Mm-hmm.
Does Hannah even keep this? Like, does this get framed in her apartment or does this get like right in the shredder?
No. Put it with Ika's letters.
Like this could have been Hannah Banana would have been more creative.
100 times better. Oceana doesn't even rhyme with Hannah. It's like one.
I mean, we're gonna get there with Claire's, but
Claire Bear is the Mona Lisa compared to Oceana Hannah.
They could have done something with her, like she did the splits during that one veto she won.
Oh, and then there's Hannah Banana Splits.
Oh my God, they're writing themselves.
Yes. It would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now Chada.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The Kylander, kicking arse is his guilty pleasure.
This is literally the opposite of the Kylander. It's there can only be one, and Kyland is literally all about no. It has to be both of us. Like it's like he doesn't want to be the only. He doesn't want to be the last one standing. He wants to bring the best there so he can lose to him. It is like that is the thing about the Highlander is that's the thing, and it's the complete opposite of what Kyland wants.
He also did pretty dirty with the face. He looks like one of those like weird Hall of Fame buses. They're like, who is that supposed to be? Like they did pretty bad there.
He looks like Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. Tiffany could call it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. She's so right.
Yes. Taran, do you remember Scottie Pippen from The Circle season 2?
No. Yes, I do. He was in the. She recognized the photo. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
What a 2-year run for Scottie Pippen with the the Last Dance, Circle here. Renaissance.
That's some strong potential for Celebrity Big Brother 3.
Yeah. Brian, where did Scottie Pippen get shaded worse? Big Brother 23 or The Last Dance?
Oh, definitely The Last Dance. They did him bad there.
Yeah.
I just Googled Scottie Pippen. This is a good-looking guy. These people are cruel. This guy's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, too bad they couldn't get in any of the Kai complains.
Right.
Or just do just shut the F up, Kyland. Just have that be his comic.
Right. Something about him talking. Like, I know it would have been repetitive from Zingbot, but the talker.
They should have just used the zings as their comics. They're built into them.
Yeah, the chatterbox.
Mm-hmm.
He's here to talk your ears off.
Chatterbox.
Chatterbox.
Okay. All right. What else we got? Oh, Tiffy Toes. Toebots in disguise. What is that? The Transformers tagline?
Yeah. I don't know how that's relevant to that. I mean, I'll take this one. That is a nickname that she has in the house. It kind of makes sense as a superhero name. It's not relevant to her game, but it's not the worst thing in the world because there's at least some relevance here.
This poor guy though, he seems kind of in. I don't know. What does he do? What's his crime that he's being attacked by the toes here? He's like running away.
Well, see, this is actually this is Sarah Beth in disguise. That's
got it. There you go.
Okay, Tiffy Toes. All right.
I'm sorry, y'all. I think
Explorer
yeah.
X marks the spot, and Xavier had to remind us. Yes, they're just like that competition that I won. Remember?
No, I still don't remember. Which competition is he referring to? Because I still genuinely have no idea.
The Dominoes.
He was wearing the same outfit. Yeah, they were wearing that.
Yeah,
I don't see a single domino in this photo.
Half Taran on the map that to get to the X that he got the dominoes to land on the X.
I think they really played him with this comic.
Mm-hmm.
He like his head. I know it's all like very much so like a caricature, but like if I think back to Oz's, she looked beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Oz is like, you know what? Middle school crush over.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm moving
Why
on.
they do him like this?
Yeah. the Explorer.
It has to be my least favorite one. I mean, it's so bad, and it's so like it just has nothing to do with him.
Xavier.
They should have made something to do with bartending and it being a little shady because everyone already suspects that he's not really a bartender, and it would have been funny.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Or they could have look.
Yeah,
we're talking about the show that in season 21 they did. Jack from season 21. His was the Jackass. Like they can go in on people when they want to, and it was really funny watching Jack in the jury house see his comic.
Yeah.
You can be a little more creative.
Mm-hmm. Maybe work in like this guy will never pass the bar.
Right.
Without going to work. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else is there. Oh, Xavier, love this one. It was the Bikini Genie.
This is another one in the bucket of could have been done before the season even started.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Bikini Genie, 3 wishes, 1 ass kicking. Is that one of the wishes?
Can you wish not to get your ass kicked?
I mean, let's be real. Xavier, he's a lawyer. He does have a great attention to detail. It's not that he was bad at this competition. It's that he spent 15 minutes of it chatting up this poster.
Yeah, that's what the problem was. Xavier's like, could I get this one at my house?
Right?
You
Send
got
her
2
one.
of them, right? Can I take the wrong one with me?
Yeah.
just let me I swear I won't even show anybody else. It'll just be my little thing, okay? I'll keep it under the bed.
How are Xavier and Christian gonna be friends after this?
I think they'll be fine. Christian doesn't strike me as somebody that would let that bother him at all. Honestly, I feel like the bigger issue is Alyssa. Like, dude, chill.
Yeah. Yeah, probably the more likely scenario is 2 months from now. Alyssa's not going to talk to either of them, and they'll still be like on Instagram lives together.
I don't know. I think the girly girl made it pretty clear that she was not interested. I'd like to see that's pretty clear.
That could have been her comic, The
Yeah.
Girly Girl.
Or Christians.
All right.
Yeah.
What's next? Oh, here
Oh,
comes
poor Claire.
Claire
This is
Bear.
so mean.
She'll crush you with her bare hands. What did Claire do?
This is
This
so
woman is
mean.
a child of God.
This between
She's an
Sasquatch
angel.
and now Claire Bear, they have nothing. It's really Claire Bear. She's a bear. Oh, and look, she'll crush you with her bare hands. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
They took all the nicknames. Like, if you think about all the nicknames, Big D, X, Chada, Tiffy Toes, Tiffany called Claire Bear all the time. They just took the
Mhm.
nicknames.
I mean, everyone knew she was a secret HOH, right? So why couldn't they just do something with that? Like, I don't know, some secretive there. I don't know. There's other things.
Exactly.
This is so mean.
All of the Cookout knows that they played her in that situation. Like everybody knows that she screwed up at this point. Do something about the coin of destiny. You know, I don't know. It's
Mhm. All right. Sarah Breath.
oh my god.
She's going cold.
Takes your headphones off. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Breath is the best they could come up with. The best part of this comic was Tiffany's response to it, which is that she didn't talk to anyone but Kyland. I don't even know what her breath smells like.
Her breath smells
Yeah,
like.
that was another moment where like, wow, Tiffany, we really can't she just like be around for all the competitions, just a narrator? Because we're really gonna like, oh, she was on point. That was a moment where I was like, I can't believe this competition is still going on, and then Tiffany really shot it back up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be different if they had shown like her mistakenly thinking Derek X said she was playing a cold AF game.
Yeah, they
and
don't
then
even show that.
because it's not a reference. It was an accidental reference.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else we got here? The Denialator. Justice
was
won't be
good.
denied. Okay.
This
Yeah.
was good.
This is Brittany's best moment on the show. To reference that, it makes a little sense. The Denialator.
Yeah.
Not the best name in the world, but and at least it references something that is relevant and meaningful.
Yeah. Thank God she got this, because that if it wasn't for this competition, we were getting like the mad rapper.
or her being on the block a lot, like one of those. Yeah, this is a lot better.
The block star. Yeah, I think that she's I honestly cannot wait for her to see this, because she's going to be so excited.
Mm-hmm.
I think her and Ozzy have to be the two happiest with theirs.
Yeah. She'll be very excited.
Heck yeah, man. Ooh, okay, cool.
Okay. All right. Flip tonight. Here's Christian.
Yeah,
doing
remember that
the
one time he did
backwards
flips?
burpees.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I feel like they could have more focused on his, being one of the best competitions players they've ever had. Maybe give him a little more credit than just doing flips.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
When he's not something out, he's
When he's
flipping
not
out?
Making out.
He's
Making
flipping
out.
out.
That's the best part of this comic.
I mean, I think maybe what they were going for here, if I'm gonna give them a little bit of credit, is that doing the backflips, making himself into such a big target was his kryptonite in the game. But
here it's his superpower, so it's like the opposite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Lord of the Latrine. I mean, this was a slam dunk.
Easiest
On
on
a
the
Core
board.
of Duty, I missed that part.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was that one of the best punishments Big Brother's ever done? Because I still think about that and laugh, even like to this day, of how funny they pulled that one off. That was unbelievable.
Yeah. All right.
It's a good one.
Yeah, he made it enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
I think he was such a good sport.
Yeah. Yeah. Glamour Slammer. She'll powder your nose, then break it.
Yeah, this is one of those it wasn't a pun on her name, but it could have been done
Day
you know,
one.
day one. Yeah.
Mhm.
Makeup by Wit. That's been her Instagram since before she went into the house. So
As Derek I pointed out, at least they gave her that the workout top.
Yeah,
included
and
on
of
her costume.
course, Big D cannot pass up an opportunity to comment on what she's wearing in a comic.
It's a Joker.
oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see who's coming home with that comic. All right. The Fright Attendant. Estimated time of departure now.
It's not bad.
What-
It's actually a
Again.
pretty decent one.
Mm-hmm.
Was Brent a flight attendant? I'm not sure.
Yes.
I don't think we covered that on the episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I mean it's literally all they had for his entirety his entire run on the show, so it's not surprising to me at all that this is all they had for the comic either.
Mhm.
And I care
That'll
less.
easy.
Yeah, I care less about these like early boots that like they didn't have that much of a splash, but like
yeah.
he was like so oblivious. He was like historically oblivious in the week that he went home, and I really feel like he might have been able to do something with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What else we got? Mr. French, the spy who tried me.
His actual name.
I mean, this would have been last on the list, and they're like, "What can we do? I don't know. Just his first name. Just go."
Mhm.
Frenchie has like the most potential for a comic between his name and his behavior in the house. I mean, talk about like a man who thought he was a superhero to minorities and women. Like we could have done so much here, but we have the spy who fried me.
Mm-hmm.
Shoots out
His,
French fries.
his literal name is Brandon French.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. That's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing
Comic,
more to
Mr.
say.
Cohen coming at you.
Right.
I mean, that was awful. Mr. French.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like that. Get 5 minutes on Google. I'm sure you can come up with like 100 better comics than Mr. French.
5 minutes watching his HOH, you could come up with something better.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Then another bomb is Cowabunga, a hero like no other. Well, why is he a cow? Where did the cow come from?
This is so lazy that they couldn't even do a pun on Travis. They needed to do a pun on the name that they came up with for Travis, which was Cowabunga, because he, I guess, surfs. Except his whole thing was that he was actually like a startup guy from like Texas, and not like a surfer bro nearly as much as you might have assumed. But nah, it's Cowabunga, which then turns into cow, because get it, because Cowabunga. So now he's going to be half of a cow when he was barely a surfer to begin with.
Yeah.
Oh.
One.
This is
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, is it time to hang up the BB Comics?
I think
It's
it's
honestly
time to outsource it.
They finished. Hannah finished the competition, and she was like, I just competed in BB Comics. Like, this is so exciting. And I was just like,
in fairness, this is the same woman that said that meeting the Zingbot she felt like it was the same as meeting Barack Obama.
it's true. But I really do feel like, is it even that big of a deal when it's this bad? Like, is it that, like maybe we should, if this is the level of quality that we're gonna get out of it, then maybe it is time to hang, because they again can't even edit it properly to make it exciting. Instead, they're just gonna be like, yeah, it's not justice will be served, or sorry, it is justice will be served instead of she will not be, whatever. Justice versus she.
The culmination of BB Comics week. We've expanded BB Comics.
Right.
This is the Sharknado of Shark Week now. It all builds up to this.
Yeah.
It's just like Zingbot. The beginning of the season, they need to say, it's time for America's vote. Throughout the season, text 97979 to give us recommendations for BB Comics. You know it's coming.
Right. Like they should put out a tweet in the beginning of the season. Like, what are your suggestions? Crowdsource the comics.
Right.
Crowdsource things.
I do like that the competition exists. I wish that they would get better. It's a great concept for a competition. The comics are awesome, an awesome idea. The competition is a great alternative to the typical athletic kind of competition. I mean, Xavier sucks at these. And the fact that Xavier sucks at these, exactly. Like, that's great. Like, that Big D can come in second place in a competition is great. That's more of those kinds of competitions should exist, in my opinion.
I mean,
they've just been phoning it in. Like, they just need to, go back to the drawing board.
I don't know, like put Brian Scally on spec, and I'm telling you, turn these these competitions, turn them all around.
They have so much potential,
and they can't make them go one at a time, each having their same amount of time for each segment. Like, that's like make them go all at the same time, or they got to change something. Like, I can't, every single time with them going over each difference was something else.
Yeah,
it was always on a giant laptop. Like, oh, nerds like comics, right?
Yeah.
Like, they would look on a giant laptop and peer in the window like some
weird
Tom in the comic book store on a zip line.
It's weird that it's not like an easel. Yeah. Like,
all right. Big D was close. Kyland got it, but Big D was right there to the point where we should start talking about Big D coming in second in these competitions.
I'm very proud of myself for getting second place 2 times in a row, the Veto comp and the HOH comp. But I'm a little bit nervous because I don't want people to start seeing me as a threat.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna look at him, who's gotten second in the last 2 comps over the people who've won multiple comps. The guy who's getting second.
Yes, because.
I think second place could also be, looking ahead for where he might end up finishing this game too. So second place could be his spot.
I mean, I know Big D. I hear him talk about this on the feeds. I hear him talk all the time on the feeds. I was still waiting for him to, like, give a I'm being sarcastic smile that I would give if I were saying something like that. But no.
Yeah.
I wonder that he goes right into the next thing, which is like an unrelated topic. I wonder if maybe that he did. Is it possible, Taran, that they cut him off?
He talked to Xavier about this.
Okay. Well, then, I guess. All right. So we had Kyland is going to win the HOH. It was a nice moment when they took the picture in the superhero costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't really enjoy it because I saw the veto on Kyland's neck when it was happening live. So I was like, okay, but I know it was a very cute moment. But I don't want to sleep on Hannah's performance in this comp. First ding, she just took a little bit too long. So that was impressive. So it was right up her alley, and I liked her method of going across very slow, because why give it a running start and go all fast when you couldn't see everything? So she had the right technique. It was just she took too long.
It didn't really matter here, but did they ever take notice as to like who's the last one, whose time is revealed? Because obviously for the TV, they're trying to set it up like, oh, is this person gonna win? Is that ever talked about? Like, oh, they were actually setting up for this person potentially when maybe they are the swing vote here.
Yeah, I mean, Big D in the diary room is like, oh, I'm thinking I might win this. On the feeds, he said, I knew when I was revealed first, I didn't win. So they know when it's revealed that tends to say a lot about your actual position.
Okay. Kyland and Xavier talk for a while, and maybe we should pull down Chada. Maybe we should put Big D on the block.
Oh man, maybe this time it'll happen. Yeah.
Very difficult decision. They definitely very strongly contemplated it, right?
We're gonna have to think about this.
Yeah. Taran, was there any benefit in potentially doing this?
No.
How about Tiffany? Tiffany has the last ditch effort to try to get Kyland to save her. She says, you go wherever I go. I'll back up my words with actions. Only you can save me.
He might as well have had his hands over his ears while she was talking, because nothing is going to change his mind about how he feels that she is a liar. And she stopped trusting him. And once Kyland believes that and he is justified in his mind, literally nothing can change that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said this when I was streaming watching the episode. Kyland listening to Tiffany was me watching the episode, just like kind of nodding off a little bit. And at one point, I was hoping that they would include this in the episode. At one point, she literally asks him, "Are you falling asleep?" No, I'm listening.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a play for what was there any play for Tiff there to Kyland? Is there any way to break through in some regard to swing the vote?
The play would have been to say, listen, Kyland, Xavier's not actually very good at the game. I'm the one that's been convincing people to say that he's good at the game because I've been trying to convince everybody that he's a threat that everybody needs to take out. But I am the one who knocks. I am the threat in this game. And if you don't take me to the end, you will be seen as a joke for taking the wrong player to the end, thinking that you're going to lose to the best player. And instead, you're going to lose to, at best, the second best player in the game. So think about that.
Darn.
Right.
All right. We get the veto ceremony. Nothing happens. Okay. All right.
I was kind of sad that they didn't show the speeches this time, because apparently Tiffany had a really good speech, and I know they haven't been showing it all season long. But we if they had cut the veto comp 2 minutes shorter, we could have saw the speeches.
Or just cut the hugs after and all the confessionals. Cut that and just let again. Whole hour should have just been Tiffany. So don't be cutting Tiffany where she's actually delivering the goods here.
Okay. Anything else to say about this episode of Big Brother before we? I don't know how much spoilers there is to bring in.
Just a little bit.
Okay. All right. So anything else to say about the episode before we bring in the spoilers? All right. With that in mind. All right. If you're leaving us now, come on. Hey, stick around. Don't be so precious. All right.
Well, the spoilers that we do have come from, there was a leak on the feeds today.
Oh, okay.
So they are a little bit extra spoilery potentially. I mean, it's not a lot of information, but it does come from some leaks.
Okay. All right. So we will talk about leaked feeds and more when we do our BB23 spoilers.
The Office of Civil Defense has issued the following message. This is
a spoiler.
Warning.
A spoiler.
Warning means that an actual
spoiler
against this country has been detected, and that protective action should be taken.
Congratulations, because you're doing amazing, sweetie.
Okay. All right. Spoilers. Taran, how close to the eviction did the feeds go down?
Well, I mean, it's hard to know. Obviously, once the feeds went down, we don't know when they did the eviction necessarily. Yeah. So the feeds went down early in the morning, right around the time that the live feed update started this morning. And just to give you guys a heads up, there's no spoilers for the actual double eviction results. Just some things that imply who was evicted in the first part, or at least will be evicted. And then we know one of the competitions for the double eviction. So that's what we have from the leak. So while the feeds were down, while they were down with the animals up on the screen, all of a sudden the audio changed to like actual music and house guests talking and singing to the music. There was a producer talking with the house guests, explaining the competition and how, even if you, are mathematically out of the competition, you should continue to answer the questions, stuff like that. Azza wasn't even out of it. She just got one wrong. So they talked through that, and then they did a run through, a sort of rehearsal production did of the competition, which is the veto competition for the double eviction, which is What the Bleep. And so they ran through all the questions, and they used questions from Big Brother 18 as the example questions. And so they ran through that. And so during the rehearsal, Tiffany was not a name that the 5 people in the rehearsal were Hannah, Big D, Xavier, Azza, and Kyland. And Tiffany was not a part of that rehearsal. Her name was not a part of it. And she wasn't like a character used. So they could have been just like, because Tiffany's probably out, this will be what happens. Or I think probably more likely they just straight up, she's gone already. And
this is an elaborate to really get everybody very excited when she pulls off a miracle tomorrow night.
I think the loopiness of the 7-hour podcast is
Let me live. Let me live. Let me breathe.
So yeah, that's about what we have. Now, the What the Bleep, very crapshooty kind of competition.
JC won an HOH on it.
Yes, genuinely, this is probably worse for Hannah and her chances of winning this veto than other things would be. Now, if it was an athletic competition, that would be worse. But other kinds of competitions where she has essentially a 1 in 3 chance rather than a 1 in 5 chance would probably be better. But we'll see. I mean, she can potentially get the HOH competition as well if she wants to, or if she is able to. But if she doesn't win either the HOH or the veto, it is looking like Hannah's going to be going home.
I kind of disagree. Not that Hannah might be going home, but that What the Bleep is crapshooty. I know it is crapshooty, but the fact that Hannah she remembers everything. I think even if it's a random conversation, she'll remember, no, he worded it like this rather than like this. That could very well, I know I'm very hopeful. So that's a piece of me there for sure. But I do, if of anything, it's not rolling a ball.
Right.
It's
true.
So she could remember.
Well, if JC won, then that means Big D's going to win, right? Because they're the same. So there you go.
No.
Okay.
I won't manifest that. I'm sorry.
Right. That hypothetically, if Azza won an HOH, what would she do with nominations?
Hannah and
Kyland.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. I mean, with the intention of sending Hannah out. Anybody other than Hannah winning a competition is sending Hannah out.
Well, that's not great either. Okay. All right.
And another thing.
Any good news?
Well, just another thing on that feed leak. It said like the production person playing Kyland won the comp, and then you had production say, should have been Hannah." So they're with us too.
But the production person said I should have been Hannah, or
the person playing Kyland, they're like, "Congratulations, Kyland, you got it correct." And then it was like production like talking, and then one of them said, "Should have been Hannah." As if like,
how long was this leak happening for before they realized what was
there's
happening?
going to be a class action lawsuit over this. I mean, that the production people were saying that they didn't want Kyland to win a competition.
They're real people too, you know.
1
Wait,
star. Yeah. Complaint to the FCC. Okay. This is wild.
Xavier can represent him in the case.
It's pretty wild. I mean, it's relatively unprecedented in recent times, at least. And I think it speaks to the amount of interest left in the season that very few people are actually talking about it.
So people were just watching the feeds down and just happened to hear. Like, who would be watching the feeds when they're down? What are they doing? They're just watching the cats and hoping there's a leak.
Come back up.
I'm not going to lie. I do have the cats and dogs up for my dog because she has found a recent interest in seeing them. So she looks at the screen and she might bark a little bit sometimes. And so it's nice little entertainment.
Shout out to that. They really picked Peter with they were like, "Oh my God, producers are talking. This is the greatest thing ever."
Okay. All right. Let's take some questions. Okay. How about this one? This is from Scammerin 427. If Hannah is able to evict Xavier in the double eviction, is there any chance that she survives the final 4 week without winning the HOH or the veto?
I actually think yes. I think there's a good chance that Kyland would evict Azza over her. Because she at that point becomes theoretically the best player remaining apart from Kyland. And he has even said a couple points this week, I don't know if he still believes this, but that he has no intention of targeting Hannah moving forward. Obviously, he's not going to be able to win HOH in the double. So when I say everybody's going to target Hannah, Kyland theoretically wouldn't, but he's not competing. And so it is definitely possible that if she takes out Xavier, she could survive. Now, if Xavier is still there, if she wins and takes out Azza or Big D, which she might, considering her plans, then I think that Kyland would still, because Xavier is still in the game, feel comfortable taking her out at 4.
Okay.
So who would vote out Xavier in that spot? Like, if she nominated Xavier and Kyle, like, would Azza and Big D vote out Xavier in that spot?
Between Xavier and Kyland, I do think they would likely vote out Kyland. But Xavier and Big D, Azza would, I think, vote out Xavier, and then she could break the tie. She only needs 1 vote. And there's also, I mean, it's possible that Azza votes out Xavier over Kyland. She made a deal with Xavier or with Kyland that she would not vote him out in the following week, and she's been talking a lot about how she doesn't want to have to make that decision because she doesn't want to go against her word. And so, you know, there are scenarios where she gets Xavier out for sure, but she's not exactly maximizing her odds according to her plans to make that happen.
Okay. Let's go to another question. The Big Brother Wiki, the great Big Brother Wiki, says, with the 2-hour double eviction tomorrow, could we see one of the 2 evictees revived? We got 2 weeks left. Could we see a BB Can 9 fake double revived with a BB AU white mirror room twist? Sarah, could so I think we know the BB Can 9 version. Is the BB Australia first? Let's just talk it through. That is this a pipe dream that there's some sort of a buyback tomorrow?
Is it? I don't think it's a pipe dream, but I personally don't think it's going to happen. I feel like I've said this from the start. I feel like they'd advertise it if there was going to be this kind of thing. The whole reason that they would do it is to get eyes on it and have people watch for that particular episode. And you do that by saying, and then it's going to be a fake double eviction, and one of them is going to come right back in, and all of that. And so I really
part of the Friday night episode.
I
Friday night for somebody getting back
who returns. Yeah,
it's possible. It's possible. As they pointed out in the chat, CBS has replied to tweets about it, which honestly, to me, only further confirms to me that it's not happening. Because they're like, oh yeah, that might have been a good idea. Let's pretend like it's a possibility to get more eyes on it, but we can't actually say it is because it's not. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's not impossible. They do have the space for it, especially in a 2-hour episode with a follow-up the next day.
I recall, I feel like that the BB 19 battlebacks happened on a Friday night.
Yeah, there were battlebacks that happened on Fridays for sure, but they were not this kind of thing where it happened, somewhat the same night. And then the white room from Big Brother Australia was, I guess that would be another way of doing a buyback with COVID, where they didn't actually leave the house; they just went into a hidden room. And stayed there for the next elimination cycle, and then there was like a competition, so to speak, to get back in a little bit later. So it wouldn't be immediate, but it would be that they were like hanging out in a room, watching live feeds or something.
Yeah, because let's be real, we saw this episode tonight. do they have 3 hours of content from when the feeds went down at 11 a.m. today till whenever they lock the Friday night episode?
I mean,
We could get 30 minutes of jury.
Mm-hmm.
well, here's the
You have to
thing.
get Claire and Sarah Beth showing up at the jury, and Alyssa.
With it being pre-taped, that means that they can stretch the competitions out in the way that they do on the episodes normally, which means we can get a 20-minute HOH competition after the eviction. So we're gonna get,
I was worried.
we're gonna get like campaign segment, followed by a live vote. That's probably gonna take up to like 20 to 30 minutes, and then a 20-minute HOH competition, followed by campaigning nominations, a 20-minute veto competition, followed by campaigning veto ceremony, followed by campaigning vote out. And honestly, I could see that being 2 hours.
Yeah. How about 10-minute interview with Tiffany?
Yep.
I'll take it.
Instead of doing like whatever they do on Instagram with like, oh, stay tuned to Instagram for our extended interview. Maybe we can get like that whole thing in the episode.
That'd be great.
Yes. And I would love the first question to be, Tiffany, explain to us how you created the cookout. And then I also want to get a camera on Big D and Xavier when they watch that back.
All right. Let's get a long question here. Let's see. Elizabeth in Connecticut says, is it me or is Xavier less and less impressive each week since the meltdown regarding Tiffany, HOH number 2, and his performance in BB Comics, which he appeared to be trying to win? I'm forgetting what all the fuss was about. P.S. Love you guys and all the pods this summer. The short version, is Xavier getting less and less impressive each week?
A little, but I feel like his chances to win just keep growing. So it's like it doesn't even matter.
That's the paradox.
I'd actually say no. I'd actually say for me, he's getting more impressive. But at the same time, his previous game has been he is confirming to us more and more that he had no idea how he got here. But what he is doing while he is here has been effective and is working. So I think that this is the best game he has been playing all season long. And he keeps reminding us of how poorly he did previously in terms of knowing what was happening and actively getting himself there.
I think Xavier has been. I haven't been impressed with him. I thought that he was in a really good position with the Kings and he managed that well. But the fact that, what you're saying, Taran, the fact that we're realizing how lost he was up until this point is just like, okay, how good is he? If you put him in another season, and I know you're going to talk about that because we're probably going to get a situation where you have a long podcast about it leading up to the final 3. But it's just like, the fact that he can impressively throw comps, or, he is good when he has an alliance around him. But I don't know. I'm not just thrilled about him and his game.
All right. We'll see. Anything else BB23 for tonight? Well, we will have a lot to talk about tomorrow night. We will be back with the recap of our 2-hour episode, and we will be live at 10:15 p.m. Eastern to talk about the ultimate fate of Tiffany in the game. Plus, whatever happens next, it'll be myself and Taran, Kirsten McInnes, and Puya Zambakili live on Thursday night for the recap of the 2-hour special. We'll get down to just 4 house guests left, with still 2 weeks to go in the BB house. Taran, tomorrow we got a live feed update coming.
Yes. I don't like to leave the people hanging. Not everyone, watches the recap. Sometimes people are just listening to the updates. So I'll go live to let people know that the feeds were down, and I'll explain what happened in the leak. And then,
Got the transcripts of the production leak. We'll always do that.
Yeah, I got a tweet that said, "Let Taran have a day off tomorrow." Like, if he wants a day off, he can have it. But Taran doesn't want to leave.
Was that tweet from Taran? Like, is the
no? Have you met Taran? You think he's asking for a day off?
Yeah, you can't keep me from the updates. That's the
Okay. All right. Then, of course, I mentioned the roundtable from Tuesday night. Check out Taran, Melissa, and Jacob Jones talking about everything from the Stock Watch. Check it out on the Roundtable podcast. This week, we had the great Lita Brillman join me on the Slop. She brought in some. We workshopped the comics. Lita workshopped the zings for this season. Plus, we talked about the Claire's extended exit interview with Julie Chen Moonves. We talked about Christian's upcoming appearance at a ice cream shop in Connecticut, and also we took a look at what Kyland has been reviewing on Yelp on the latest edition of The Slop for the patrons of Robin's podcast. Very fun with Lita on Monday night. This Friday, we'll be back to talk about whoever our new HOH is and what the plans are for week 11 of Big Brother as Taran and I take your calls. We had a great BB Q&A call-in show this past Friday. Looking forward to hearing from you then. We do that at 2 p.m. Eastern on Friday for the patrons of Robin's podcast. And then I'm so excited to talk about last night. We went into the wee hours of morning to talk about the #1 best season of all time. Chappelle, Shannon, Gus, and me went the distance to talk about Survivor Heroes versus Villains. I think we did justice to the #1 best season of all time as we closed out the top 40 countdown. Of course, Taran, we had you 3 times with us along the way, including the 1 week I missed in these past 36 weeks.
Yeah.
Asia, we talked about 2 different seasons, Millennials versus Gen X and Game Changers. Brian, you were with us to talk about the Philippines. Cannot thank all of the people who watched these seasons with me along the way and everybody that joined us on the top 40 countdown. And I am very tired today, but it feels wonderful.
Great.
People are saying they want to recount and to do it all again next year. So
recount?
Yeah,
we could revote. You could revote. I don't know.
Hey Rob, great job with it. Like honestly, one of my really good friends, she actually went back and watched some seasons so that she could listen because she listens to your Big Brother content. And she's like, okay, well, this makes me want to go back and watch all the Survivor seasons.
Well, I appreciate that, Asia. Thank you for sharing that with me. And if you go to robinsonwebsite.com/rankings, those are up on their own page on the website. Any of the seasons that you want to, you ever binge watch a season and want to go back to our coverage, robinsonwebsite.com/rankings. All right. Then let's see what else is coming up. Oh, we're talking Survivor 41, the B&B. There was just a Big Brother B&B. Mike and Liana, not Liana from Survivor. They are talking about Survivor 41 on the B&B preview. Always fun for that episode of the B&B. Then also we have the Circle is going to be coming back, and we will be having some fun on Saturday when myself, Taran, Kirsten, Jenny, and Geneva will get together to talk about another week in the Circle. Taran, have you started the new Circle episodes?
I have not yet.
Down, Taran. What's going on? What are you doing all day? This is the best. No time like the present, Taran.
Waiting for production to talk on the
feeds are down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm very excited to announce a brand new podcast that we just launched. The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City wrap-ups with 2 of the stars of the live feed updates. Of course, Maggie Morgan and Jacob Jones. You've heard them all summer long with Taran. They're together now, rehapping the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. What does Plainview Sue think, Brian?
She's pissed she didn't get the call. I was like, this is it. This is your chance to join RHAP. She didn't make it.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited. Check out Maggie and Jacob in recapping the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And then Asia, what's coming up on Married at First Sight? What's on there that people are doing push-ups with goats on their back?
Yeah, goat yoga. I heard it's
yoga.
all the rage, but I'm not quite sure what happened on tonight's episode, but I know that my group chats are blowing up. Like, y'all let me know when you've seen this episode of Married at First Sight. So I can't wait to watch it as soon as we end. And then Amy and I will be talking about it. So that should be coming out in the next few days. But Married at First Sight, it's been good. 5 couples met at the altar, got married, and then 8 weeks they figure out if they want to stay married or get divorced at the end of that. So very entertaining and solid show. And you can listen to the podcast without watching the show. So come give us a listen.
Right, check that out in the RHAP Ups feed. And then we have, Brian, the challenge is off to the races with what's Spies, Lies, and Allies.
Yep, rolls right off the tongue.
Yes.
Great branding.
What's going on this week? Or you're with us? You're not watching the
I
challenge.
I chose Big Brother because the challenge for some reason loves conflicting with all the other shows that they cast from. So I'll be watching right after this.
Okay, check it out right after this. Do you think we'll have any BB23 representation in the challenge sometime soon?
Oh, I think by next season I could see Christian, maybe Xavier, Alyssa. I could see a few of them get the call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about Derek F?
Joker's always get the last laugh, so he'll be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he'll get second in every challenge.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, he does like to call out his arch nemesis. What was it?
Enemies. Come on, Taran.
Arch enemies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Of course. Had a great time today. Also, Chantel Francis joined me for this week's edition of the Survivor 41 Patron Q&A. Just one of the shows right now in our Patron podcast feed. I will be also live on Thursday for the Survivor Heroes versus Villains feedback show as well, answering more questions about Survivor Heroes versus Villains. I'll be live on Friday for the patrons on the BB Q&A with Taran. We got a patron 5 for 5 coming up with the First Lady of Podcasting. So much stuff going on in our patron podcast feed, plus access to our patron community, all at robisawebsite.com/patron. Check out all the offers from our sponsors when you go to robisawebsite.com/offers. Be sure to click subscribe on YouTube for the video versions of this podcast, or in your favorite podcatcher, wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow us on social media to join in on the fun. That's Rob is a Podcast on Twitter, or at RHAP Grams on Zingstagram. Okay. All right. Brian Cohen, so nice to have you here to talk some BB23.
So great. So it's a great episode too to join. A lot of stuff happening. A lot of fun.
Yes. Brian, where can people keep up with you?
So as you mentioned, the Challenge Podcast. Follow on there, and you can catch me on Twitter at Cohen with a C, Brian _. Catch me there.
Yeah. All right. Brian, great stuff tonight. Aysha, how about for you? What's coming up in your world?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Aysha like Asia, so AYSHA like ASIA. That's where you can see all of my Married at First Sight content whenever the podcasts are released, and also whenever I'm going to be covering Big Brother 23 again. So go give me a follow.
Okay. Aysha, great job tonight. And Taran, what do you do on a night with no feeds? What's going on for you?
Tonight?
Yeah.
Sleep.
Okay, go to bed early.
Tomorrow night, it's going to be a lot of streaming on Twitch. I'll be talking through the stock watch options this week. I'll also be streaming during the 2-hour double eviction. I'll be watching with you guys. Come and join me. It is your destiny. And then we'll be hanging out after to talk about it here on the podcast as well. And you can also find me on Twitter at Armstrong Taran.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Had a lot of fun tonight with this one. We'll be back after the double eviction, baby, on Thursday night. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.